Today, I want to help you understand why your emails are bouncing and then help you bounce proof your emails so that they get delivered in more people's inboxes. But before we get started, what is a bounce? Now, a bounce is whenever your email is unable to be delivered into somebody's inbox. And there are two different types of bounces. So you have a soft bounce, which is whenever an autoresponder is on and it's just unable to get there for a short amount of time. And then there is a hard bounce, which is whenever emails are permanently unable to be delivered. And this may happen if somebody spelled their email address wrong or the domain is no longer good. So if you have an @theirdomain.com and they're no longer paying for that domain and the email is invalid, those are reasons that a hard bounce would occur. Now, today I want to help you find your bounce rate, understand what that is, and then get your emails landing in more people's inboxes. All right, so the first one is a little bit of a no-brainer, but it needs to be said. You need to be regularly cleaning your list. So removing soft bounce or hard bounce, not really soft bounce, but hard bounce ones away from your email list, and re-engaging with your email list so that they stay super engaged. So whenever the time comes and you do want to eventually sell to your list, you can go ahead and have an engaged audience. And I mentioned this in one of my past videos, how you can regularly clean your email list. I like to do it for people who haven't really interacted with my emails in 90 days. And so I will link to that video up above and then down in the comments as well. Now, you might want to know how to find your bounce rate. The average bounce rate is about 2%. I found that most people in the industry kind of hover around 2 to 4%. But if you want to find your bounce rate, there's a little bit of math that is involved. And so let's go ahead and find out those numbers. So inside, I'm going to use Flowdesk. That's what we use for our email marketing. So inside Flowdesk, find one of your emails that was sent to your list. And then you're going to click View Results. And then once it comes up, it's going to show you who your emails were sent to, so all recipients, and then how many bounces there were. So out of 1,871 recipients, 55 of those bounced. And next to it, you'll see soft bounce, soft bounce, soft bounce. You can go through and check all of these to see, but they should all be soft bounces. And so for that formula, we're going to put it up on the screen so you can find your bounce rate. So last time I did this, my bounce rate was around 4%. And it will be higher around probably holidays because most people are going to have their autoresponders on, which I think this one was sent around Christmas time. And so the bounce rate is just inevitably going to be a little bit higher for soft bounces. Now, the second tip is for you to skim through and read those bounced emails. So for hard bounces, a lot of them are just going to be because they typed in their email address wrong. They put, Gmail instead of Gmail. So you can skim through those email addresses and fix them as you see whenever you're going through. And then if you want to, you can use a double opt-in. So whenever you're going to set up a form, you can set up at the very end, it will ask you if you want to do a double opt-in. All right, so in your account, whenever you go to opt-in setup, this is where you'll have your double opt-in. So you can edit this to make it more like your personality, more in line with your brand. And then whenever you go to create a form, at the very end, it's going to ask you, so I'll go over to my form so I can show you. I'll edit an old form. We're going to hit embed, and it should bring up the settings. Okay, so let me go to customize. There we go. Should we enable double opt-in? So you can say no, recommended for conversion, or you can say yes. So subscribers who opt in this form will receive an email confirmation asking them to validate their subscription before sending the email. So that's how you set up double opt-ins. And this helps so that people who are on your email list are going to be super engaged because basically they've said twice in a row that they wanted to be there. So yes, you may get lower conversions, but it's going to result in a more engaged list. The fourth one, and I've talked about this also in another video, and so we'll link to that video down in the comments below, but try a win back campaign. This is whenever you send an email to people who are inactive on your list and you try to win them back. In this case, I would make the email headline, what you see in their inbox, super juicy, so that way they really want to open it. Because if you can't even get them to open the email address, then it's just a vanity metric and there's no point for you to even have them on your email list. So try a win-back campaign. A win-back campaign will also re-engage subscribers. And so if you have low open rates or people just aren't really engaged anymore, a win-back campaign will really help them re-engage with your list or help them unsubscribe, so that way they're not taking up room on your list and you really have a highly engaged email list. All right, the next tip that I have for you, also talked about in another video, is to segment your list so that way you are only sending emails to people who want to receive them. So if you have multiple departments within your brand, so say you are, and I use this example all the time, if you are a wedding photographer, but you also do newborns and families, segment your list so that brides are only getting wedding information, families are only getting family information, and you get the picture. So that way they're going to be less likely to unsubscribe, but also be more engaged because they're getting emails that they actually have interest in. So segmenting your list is huge, and once again, we'll link down to those videos below. The next one is we want to make sure that your emails aren't spammy. So that way they don't get blocked by spam filters. So if you have, win $1,000 or something that always gets shown in spam folders, that's going to alert the filter and you're not going to be getting into people's inboxes. There's a couple of different tools that you can use. One that I use is called Send Forensics. It's a paid account and I'm not sure, let's see. So this is what it looks like inside the Send Forensic, and I'm going to show you how to set this up inside of your own account. So whenever you come inside Send Forensic and everything is set up correctly, you can go through and see the vocabulary and copywriting, and it will tell you, you have both the question mark and the exclamation mark. This are some red words that may cause the spam filter to flag it, and so it will give you like really in-depth information, like all you need is a plan, $9.97 or monthly. So this obviously was a heavy sales email, and you can kind of see it within the copy. Now, how you set this up is whenever you have your domain, it will give you a test right here, a unique test one. And so you can find it right here. You're going to go into Flowdesk and you're going to go to Audience, and then you're going to hit Add Subscriber, and you're going to copy and paste. So we're going to say that's the email address, test, and then you can add them to any of your segments. You can also, if you don't want to do it that way, there's another option as well. So if you don't want to add them to your audience, whenever you go to send an email, so we're going to say new email. We're just going to choose one. So once we get over here, customize. Once you get over to the email, there's a little send test. And so what you can do is test out the email subject line, so whatever you would call the email, and then put in the recipient, and then hit send test now. Then it will pop up over here in your profile, the Send Forensics profile, and you'll be able to check it before you send it. And so that way, if you don't want to add them to your audience, that's another way. And it might take a second for it to come through. This one hasn't came through yet, but that's a way that you can send out the emails and check them for spam. Now, this is a paid account, and I believe it's $49 a month. But if you are trying to make sales and get in more people's inbox, then it's definitely going to be worth it for a paid account. And then the last tip is to remove any spammy looking email addresses from your list. So if you go through, you can see admin at www.whatever.com. You can see help at whatever.com. Any email addresses like that that look spammy or random numbers and letters at an email address, you want to go ahead and just remove those from your list. So that way you're keeping a really clean and healthy, engaged list. So hopefully this helps you understand what is a bounce. If you found this helpful, go ahead and click the thumbs up arrow so that I know that this was really helpful. And then go ahead and check out some of our other videos below talking about email marketing, especially inside our favorite Flow Desk.